Marketing Your Private Practice is a podcast where you'll learn easy to implement tips and strategies to grow your business without spending all day online. I'm your host, Kathy Colaiacovo, and I teach practitioners the Thrive marketing method to create simple and streamlined plans by focusing on long-term strategies, not just social media. Discover ways to spend less time on your marketing, attract more clients, and build the financial freedom that comes with a thriving practice. One where you have time left in your day for the people and things that matter to you. Hey, private practice heroes. Thanks for tuning into the podcast today. I'm Kathy Colaiacovo, and today I want to share something not everyone knows or may realize about me. I am someone who's had anxiety most of my life, and winging it is something I do not do well when it comes to speaking on the spot. It's also something that does not always end well when it comes to marketing your practice or your business, not if you're looking for consistent results. Winging it is something that can easily derail your efforts, especially if you're looking for people to say yes to working with you. It can turn the simplest of intros into a lost opportunity or a client. Now, this can happen even if you don't officially have anxiety. You may still stumble when it comes to sharing about your business with others. You know the kind of situations I'm talking about. We've all had a time where we were put on the spot and had to introduce ourselves at a networking event or maybe in a Facebook group or on a consult even. And suddenly you can't get the words out clearly for your elevator pitch or even just a simple introduction of who you are. And it is so frustrating. You know what you do. You're great at what you do. But sometimes there are moments in our lives when the words don't come out right. Maybe you freeze. Maybe you stumble over your words. Maybe you dive into the over-explaining mode that we talked about in episode 150. Or sometimes it's just simply saying things so vague that you're not even sure it sounded right. If any of this is hitting close to home, I've got some tips for you today. And if you happen to live in Nova Scotia, where I'm from, I also want to invite you to join me for an in-person workshop that I'm hosting here in Halifax on Friday, June 6th. It's called Nail Your Marketing Message, and I'm going to show you how to say what you do clearly and confidently so people understand and say yes. Now, I will share a bit more about that at the end of the episode, but you can check out the details anytime at nailyourmarketingmessage.ca. And if you're not local to the Nova Scotia area, please keep listening because what I'm going to share today will help you avoid those frozen moments and make sure you feel prepared to say what you do with confidence, anytime, anywhere. You cannot continue to wing your messages and expect people to say yes. Now, what we're going to do today is dive a little deeper into one of the marketing lessons I've taught to over 1,200 practice owners and service providers. We're going to be talking about the 4 core marketing messages that help you stop overthinking when it comes to sharing what you do. I introduced these briefly in episode 150, and today I'm going to break down what each one is, how they show up in your day-to-day marketing, and how they help you get better results from what you're doing when you're marketing your business or your practice. Here's why having your marketing message nailed down is so important. And this is something I've learned and seen firsthand from all the marketing assessments and marketing reviews I do every month for clients in my Thrive Marketing Academy, or maybe folks signing up for one of my free marketing reviews. I see it happen all the time. Amazing practice owners, amazing service providers who offer incredible value to their clients with their services, but they still struggle to get people to say yes. And by people, I mean their ideal clients. It's not because their services aren't helpful to people. It's not because their marketing isn't consistent. It's because the message they share with people isn't clear or isn't ready to be shared in a clear way when they need it the most. And when your marketing message isn't ready, here's what happens. You'll tend to spend more time rewriting all of your bios, your calls to actions, your captions that you're putting on social media. Every time you try to share your message, it's a new message and nothing is consistent. which means you go into wasting time because you're trying to decide what to say and how to say it. A lot of times you can end up giving people the wrong impression about you because you weren't ready with a clear and effective marketing message. And ultimately, you're losing out on potential clients when your message does not hit home with anyone. This is why I work with clients so deeply on these 4 core marketing messages. It is challenging to build a sustainable practice or business if your message is different every time you show up somewhere. Not only do these 4 core messages help you stay consistent with how you share what you do and how you help people, but having them at the ready will build your confidence in delivering them every time and nailing it, even in those moments when you're on the spot and nervousness or anxiety might take over more than you want. So let's dive in today to these 4 core marketing messages, and I'm going to give you a little more context on what each one is and how it fits into your marketing. And we're going to start with number 1, your crystal clear intro, your introduction. This is typically how you might introduce yourself to people in a sentence or 2. You might use it in person. You might use it in virtual meetings. You might use it on a chat box when you're on a Zoom call. You might be sharing it on a consult with a prospective client. So here's what I like to see in a crystal clear introduction. Typically, it may have your name or start off with your name, hi, I'm blah, 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 and you say your name. But that depends sometimes on whether or not you've already shared your name in the situation. Ideally, it should then introduce your business name and your website. I like to combine these 2 because it helps to shorten things up a little bit. It should also identify the kind of people you work with, what you help them do, and a vision of what your help does for your clients. You also want to include your location if that is relevant as well. Now, your intro is something you might have a few versions of this saved. I like to save one in the Zoom intros doc that I talked about in episode 150. I like to have a version that I might do and post and share on a Zoom chat. I like to have one for email if I have to share it with somebody in an email or on a Facebook group. I also like to have a version that is for a bio when I am speaking somewhere at an event. There are pieces of this that are also going to show up in your social media profiles. I also like to make sure I have one for quick pitches when I might be on any spur of the moment asked to share. Who are you? What do you do? When you have this ready in a couple versions, then you're ready no matter where the opportunity comes up. I'm going to give you an example for the first 3 of these, but I'm going to just preface this by saying by no means are my messages perfect. I'm always tweaking them and moving them along and adjusting and editing them. But I do want to give you an example here. So here is a typical intro that I might do if I was saying this and sharing it with someone in person. And I did check on this. There are 78 words in this. And it is something I can typically deliver in under 30 seconds, which is important to have. A version of your intro or elevator pitch even, which is number 2 in this list of 4 messages. You always want to be able to have something you can share in less than 30 seconds because there are a lot of times when a 30-second time limit is all you might have. Here's my intro. I'm Kathy Colaiacovo. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the founder of pepperitmarketing.com and host of the Marketing Your Private Practice with Kathy C podcast. I work with women in private practice and service-based businesses who are tired of wasting time on marketing that is going nowhere. I teach them how to focus their message and streamline their marketing so they book more clients and grow their business. And we do it all without spending hours a day on social media. And that's it. That's my intro that I might tell someone. You typically, hopefully, I'm hoping you get a good idea of the kind of people I work with, what I help them do, and what happens with them when they work with me. So that is what a crystal clear intro should sound like or look like if you're going to type it in online and share it. The second core marketing message that we want to talk about is your one-line offer statement. And this is where I try to get you to do it as short as possible. This is your what I do, who I help, and how it helps line with the ideal client's problem in there, plus the solution benefit type of formula included in the statement. But something where you want to say similar things in a similar message to your intro, but you're going to do it in a much shorter version. And this is often sometimes going to show up later on in your website, in your marketing content, in quick conversations with people. There's so many places this one-line offer statement can end up being part of your marketing content and the marketing words that you say to people. It's important for you to be able to have this one-line statement so that someone can quickly know if you're for them, or if they recognize somebody they know in the description you're talking about who they could refer to you. And this is key with all of these messages. Sometimes you're not just going to be speaking to the person in front of you. You may be making them think of someone they know that they could then refer you to that person. It is often the message you'll find that other people start repeating about you. When referral partners or people that have heard you talk about it are going to refer someone to you, they're usually going to default to something similar to what you share in your one-line offer statement. And that's why having this with a lot of clarity is going to be really key, because sometimes this statement is the one that helps other people do the marketing for you. So this sample that I'm going to give you for me is a very niche sample. It is typically a line that I might say or share when I know that dietitians who have private practices are in the audience. This is something you may have a couple different versions of as well. It just depends on where you might be saying it to who you're going to be saying it to. My sample here is 26 words, and it simply says this: I work with dietitians in private practice to help them focus their message and streamline their marketing to book more clients and grow a thriving practice. That doesn't go into detail about what I do, but it does help people understand who I work with, what kind of clients they are. They understand it has something to do with marketing so they can get more clients and grow their business. And that's what I mainly want to happen with a one-line offer statement. Again, it's something that you might adjust and change out some of the words depending on the audience you're talking to in the moment. The third core marketing message that we're going to talk about is your elevator pitch. So this is a big part of marketing messages. And an elevator pitch is often something that may combine some of the elements of the intro and some of the elements of the one-line offer statement to have a slightly longer version of each one with a little more added context. This is typically something you may use for networking events when you're talking live to people, whether it's virtual or in person, and anytime you need to explain what you do in 30 to 60 seconds. Big part of it is it should be short enough for you to remember and long enough to make a point with your audience. And when you plan an elevator pitch well, you're going to have some variations of it that will fit different situations so that the added context you put in there, which is often a little more detail about the ideal client and their problem, you want that added context to be able to be changed up a little bit for a variety of situations. And this is where you're going to add a little more emotional language into it or situational context about the problem and the struggle your ideal client has. Think of your elevator pitch as a version of your message that you'll use when you have almost a minute to speak, not a few seconds. This one ideally gives those dream clients you want to work with or a referral partner enough context to connect emotionally with what you do and to remember you as well. As an example, when I know I'm in a room with people who are not private practice owners, I will change up any of my messages, especially my elevator pitch, to better fit the people in the room. This is where you want to create a couple of different versions for different settings and audiences. I'm going to give you my sample here, and it is 150 words, and it takes me about 53 seconds to say this. Now, I'm not timing myself as I say it live here. I've timed myself when I said it when I was practicing for recording this episode. So here we go. Hi, I'm Kathy Colaiacovo. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a marketing strategist and business coach, and I work with dietitians, therapists, and service providers. Women who are amazing at what they do, but feel stuck when it comes to marketing their practice or business. They've tried it all: social media, freebies, reels, videos, but they're still not getting consistent clients and they are exhausted. When we work together, they finally see where to focus their marketing and how a streamlined long-term plan can bring in more of their ideal clients without spending hours a day online. Learning my Thrive marketing method, they discover how to build systems that make marketing easier, messaging that connects with people, and create a business that fits their life, not the other way around. You can find me at pepperitmarketing.com or tune into the Marketing Your Private Practice with Kathy C podcast. So that's a little longer. I talk a little bit more about the struggles that people that are typically my clients are having and try to give a picture of what their issues might be so that whoever is hearing this can identify with that, whether it's with themselves or someone they know. That is core marketing message number 3, your elevator pitch. And you may want to have a couple versions of that are under or around 30 seconds and also around a minute as well. Always be prepared for those times when you'll have to deliver an elevator pitch or an intro, and be ready to share some versions that are different timings, because you don't want to be that person who disregards any time limit in a setting, and that ends up leaving a very different kind of feeling and message about you from the others that are taking part as well. Now, your 4th core marketing message is actually a bunch of messages. These are your CTA specific statements, so calls to action. Calls to action are a critical component of any marketing plan. These are the statements and the words that you're going to use over time to refer to specific actions you want people to take. They will include elements of those first 3 core marketing messages. So CTAs are all about telling people how they take action, how they do something, how they can download your lead magnet, how they can sign up to book a call with you, how they can register for an event. There are typically 2 types of CTAs you use in your marketing. One of them is what we call a direct CTA. So that's where you want people to buy something, book something, register. They are more direct in the way that someone is going to take an action. They're doing something more than an indirect CTA, which may be to download your lead magnet, to learn more by clicking a link and reading more on another page on your website, to follow you on social media. Things like that are more indirect CTAs because they're more about giving them more information about working with you versus taking that action piece of booking a call or buying and paying for a service with you. So the end goal of what you want people to take for the action will determine where you place and use these kinds of CTAs and what type that you use. They're found in so many places when it comes to marketing. CTAs can be found on your website pages, your landing pages. They'll come and play in presentations, in webinars, when you have a launch of a program or a new service. They're in social media content, especially in your lead magnet and blog post, promotional posts that you write for social media. Those will be CTAs. You download my free marketing stats template at XXX. That is a call to action. You want to make sure that you have messaging and words for all these varieties of calls to action that you put into place. Stories, videos, reels, content that you put on social media will often have a CTA in them to tell people what to do next. I say it all the time in my social media content. If you want more details about these tips I'm giving you, listen into episode XXX, whatever it might be. CTAs will even show up in conversations with other people. A lot of people don't realize this, but even sharing when you're at an event in person with someone who might find it useful that you have a free guide to help them streamline their social media marketing. If you're talking with someone and you say, hey, I do have this free guide, it helps you know and understand the 7 different types of content you need to streamline your social media. If you're interested in that, let me know and I'll get you a copy. That's a CTA specific statement, even if I said it to somebody face to face. Having these statements planned, prepared, and ready to go and saved for you to use means you're not rewriting or creating the same thing over and over. You use what works again and again and again, and you repurpose it. I teach my students and clients to save a CTA document so that they have all of their varieties of statements in them and ready to go. It's typically a living document that will change over time, and we add new CTAs and wording to it as they pop up. This can help you save a lot of time just doing your regular marketing too, because instead of writing these from scratch, you just simply go, oh, I need a CTA for XXX, and you go into your document, copy and paste it, and use it wherever you need it. And when it comes to marketing, one of the biggest mistakes I see is that people are out there sharing valuable content online, whether it's on their website or in social media, without ever telling people what to do next, because they don't include those CTA specific statements. A clear CTA will close the loop on whatever you're sharing, especially in your marketing when you're not there talking to people, and it will give people direction on what to do next. CTAs should truly be everywhere when it comes to marketing your practice or your business. And in episode 81, I shared more details on ways to effectively use CTAs in your marketing. It's called the one element every page on your website needs to get clients. And I'll put a link to that in the show notes for you as well. Just remember, create some of those specific call to action statements for the variety of things that you often want to tell people to do, whether it's book a call, download a lead magnet, reach out to you, read another article, or anything that's relevant to what you have wherever they are in the moment, and send them to the next place. For instance, me just mentioning a second ago to check out episode 81 for more information on using CTAs, that was a CTA specific statement. And those are your 4 core marketing messages. They're your crystal clear intro, your one-line offer statement, your elevator pitch, and your CTA specific statements. When you have these 4 core marketing messages nailed down, here's what can shift when it comes to marketing your practice or your business. 1, you sound more confident, whether you're online or on a consult or at a networking event. You're typically going to speak more clearly about what you do, who you help, and how it helps them, without rambling or over-explaining. Referral partners will know exactly who to send your way. Potential clients will understand what you do, and more of them will say yes. Even if the yes at the beginning is to book a consult, that is the first step most of us need in moving through the path to booking a client. Now, I've had some really great examples of how these core messages have played a phenomenal role in getting results for clients. One client I worked with had, originally when I talked to her, 6 different services listed on her website, and people kept disappearing after consults, most likely because they were confused. Once we simplified her message and her offers, and she had a clear one-line offer statement, her conversion rate shot up. She had more people signing up from those consults. Another client of mine added some CTA specific statements with stronger language and clearer next steps to her website. Now, after tweaking her website, and she used some of these in her social media profiles as well, she put these messages in there, and she is one of my most famous success stories because within 24 hours of making those changes, she had 5 people reach out to book a consult. Now, for her, if you want to know what changed and what we did there, I actually walk through the exact shifts that we did in a free bonus training I offer. We simply made 3 very simple marketing tweaks with her website and with her social media profiles. And that's what got her the results, because we put some of her messaging into the tweaks that we did. So definitely check out that link and learn how those small changes and those messages can make such a big difference. And these 4 messages aren't just nice to have as part of your business and your marketing toolkit. They're essential. They're going to be your go-to language, your clarity tools, if you want to call them that. And yes, they will be a big difference between confusing your audience or getting a, yes, I need that, I need to work with you response from people. And if you're wondering what these messages sound like in real life, do not miss the next episode. I'm going to walk through some before and after transformations from my clients and people that have done reviews with me or have been in part of my Thrive Marketing Academy, because I want to show you how powerful clear messaging can be. And one of those actually inspired these last few episodes and the workshop I'm hosting in June of 2025. Because when the day that she delivered her crystal clear intro on one of our calls, it hit me deeply. I mean, I talked about it before. I was almost in tears because it was so fabulous. It really shows you how much of a difference working on these messages can make when it comes to how you position yourself and present yourself to potential clients. So be sure to hit follow wherever you're listening into the podcast and get notified when that episode goes live. The goal here is I want you to stop winging it and start nailing your message every time. And that's exactly what we're doing together in the workshop I mentioned earlier that I'm hosting here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. It's called Nail Your Marketing Message, How to Say What You Do So Clients Say Yes. So if you are here in town and you're looking to create your 4 core marketing messages, then I invite you to join me and sign up. So you can visit nailyourmarketingmessage.ca to save your seat. And listen, if you're not in Nova Scotia, but you would be interested in a virtual option of this workshop, I've had a few people reach out. So send me a message or email me. If there is enough interest, I might just make a virtual version of it happen later on this year as well. Goal here is don't wing it. Don't waste time rewriting or rambling in the moment when it comes to your marketing. Start working on your 4 core messages now. Write them down, test them out, practice using them everywhere. These 4 messages are your foundation and shortcut to reaching those ideal clients. Nail them down and start saying what you do so well that people will say yes. And that's it for today, folks. This is Kathy Colaiacovo signing off. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, to thrive in practice starts with having your 4 core marketing messages in place. They become your go-to words that help people understand exactly how you can help and why you're the one to call. I'll see you next time. You can find all of our show notes and resources mentioned at marketingyourprivatepractice.com. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram at pepperitmarketing and say hi. I'd love to hear any feedback you have, and make sure to rate and review the podcast and hit subscribe on your favorite player so you don't miss any future episodes.